Welcome to the Film School. I am Joe.
And I'm Chris.
And tonight we're here to talk about Jim Jarmusch's new film,
The Dead Don't Die.
Dead Don't Die. Is it Jim Jarmusch or Jim Jarmusch? I don't know. I hear people pronounce his last name in odd ways.
You need to put the emphasis on the moosh.
Jim Jarmusch.
There you go.
Zombie comedy here. We're going to have a little bit of spoilers in this review, but not a whole lot. Maybe a whole lot. I don't know. But you've been warned.
Not a whole lot to spoil.
Not really. You get a lot of it from the trailer, but Jim Jarmusch, his first zombie comedy. This is from a really good filmmaker who's given us great films like Down by Law, Mystery Train, Night on Earth, Dead Man, Ghost Dog, The Way of the Samurai, Broken Flowers, Coffee and Cigarettes, The Limits of Control, Patterson. All good films. This was not really that good.
It was a little disappointing.
Which is a shame because the trailer made it look, like it's going to be in the same classic lineup as Shaun of the Dead and Zombieland and Fido and the good zombie comedies. And it almost, like it played around with tone. Like sometimes it hit the mark and sometimes it didn't. I almost felt like he should have treated this like Mystery Train and Night on Earth where it was, an anthology.
Right.
And with Mystery Train, it's a triptych, but with Night on Earth, there's like 7 different stories. I feel like this could have been done that same. Both of those movies, Mystery Train and Night on Earth, the different stories basically take place at the same time. You know what I mean? In Mystery Train, it's the 3 stories taking place at the same time in the same hotel in Memphis. In Night on Earth, it's 7 cab drivers from around the world, but approximately the same time. I feel like this film should have done that, right? Like it should have been all those different stories just happening at the same time. But it didn't do that.
You threw in some weird subplots too.
Yeah.
Like Tilda Swinton's character, she was awesome in it, but
didn't make any sense.
At the end, gets in a flying saucer and flies away. It's just like, okay, wow.
I mean, she acts very strange, but they kind of attributed to the fact that she's a mortician and Scottish. And her Scottish accent was pretty impressive. And so were her sword maneuvers.
Right.
I thought she was going to be this great ass-kicking hero of the film, and instead she just...
Well, to be honest with you, she was one of the better characters of the movie.
She really was. But then she just gets in the UFO and, see you guys, your problem, and takes off, and you're like, okay. Yeah. I mean, Bill Murray was good, Adam Driver was good, Chloe Sevigny was good, Selena Gomez was good, Steve Buscemi.
Right. It just, I don't know, Jim Jarmusch's pacing just didn't work in this film. I felt it just kind of fell flat.
It's not really his kind of material.
Yeah, right.
It looked like it maybe could have been, but there was also some weird tonation in it again because the ending of the film it gets meta when they start referencing the script.
Right.
And Adam Driver the whole time is just like, this is going to end badly, and how do you know? And well, Jim gave me the script, and you're like, but what? Where are they going with this? And it really doesn't go anywhere with it,
Right. Same way.
So that was a little odd. But a lot of good performances. I mean, Danny Glover was fine. Steve Buscemi was fine with his Make America White Again hat. So good. I mean, the music was fine. Tom Waits was really good. Tom Waits is always good,
yeah,
even if he's in a movie that's not that great, but he's always good. But even that got a little weird at the end with his narration out of nowhere. It's just, it kept making tonal shifts from comedy to suddenly gets kind of serious at the end.
Right.
Interesting take on the zombies, though. I mean, there's no real explanation as to why.
Other than fracking.
Yeah. Global
warming.
Yeah, global
basically.
Warming. But when they die, like when you kill them, you have to, obviously they talk about you have to cut off the head, but never really mention destroying the brain, which is really what you have to do. So cutting off the head doesn't necessarily destroy the brain, even in this movie. But I thought it was really interesting that when they do cut them, it's kind of like a powder that kind of blows out of them. Carol Kane, I mean, it's kind of weird that they got Carol Kane for this because she's only in like maybe 5 minutes of the whole movie.
Right.
But it was cool to see her, I did like the fact that the zombies clamored towards the things that they loved in real life. So you got the Iggy Pop zombie who's all about the coffee,
right,
and the Carol Kane zombie who's all about the Chardonnay. And for zombie fans, I mean, it does follow some of the similar tropes, and there's definitely, I mean, it is a zombie movie. and there's definitely some decent gore in it too, which is surprising because Jim Jarmusch also doesn't do a ton of gore,
Right.
you know, or extreme violence. So,
but it was shot by Frederick Elms, who works with David Lynch, and he shot a few other, like Patterson, Night on Earth.
God, if you haven't seen Patterson, man,
and
go see, rent it, download, stream it.
He works with Ang Lee too. Like he shot Ice Storm and
you shoot the Hulk.
And the Hulk, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and then
taking Woodstock or Brokeback Mountain.
No, I don't. He didn't shoot any of those, but like he shot Wild at Heart, Blue Velvet.
Oh yeah, it's one of my favorites, man. So yeah, I mean, it looks good.
Yeah.
Really, visually, it looks good. The location's nice. I don't know, the thing with Sturgill Simpson writing the theme song and Adam Driver acknowledging it's the theme song and the fact that it keeps reoccurring when it's not a good song drove me nuts. And they keep mentioning his like, who is Sturgill Simpson? Like, it's cool that he's an Americana guy.
It didn't really go anywhere. It just was like,
I don't care.
Like plugging Sturgill Simpson or what?
Yeah,
like, cool. You're a fan of Sturgill Simpson.
Good on you. I mean, it wasn't as classy as the way he used Screaming Jay Hawkins in Mystery Train. You know,
right?
With Sneak Lee as the guys who run the hotel, the flop house that everybody's staying at, which I thought was a lot more interesting, but. Yeah, overall, I mean, again, it's probably one that I would recommend unless you're a diehard Jim Jarmusch fan. It's probably one you can miss in the theater and maybe wait till it's on
digital
download or streaming or Blu-ray, whatever. I'm on the fence as to whether I'll buy it because again, there are moments, and I love Bill Murray. He's my favorite actor, and I think Bill Murray did a good job in this role. As I would never have pictured him as playing a sheriff of a small town. And he played kind of against type too, because he didn't really have any of his typical, he didn't have any of the traits that he brought to the Wes Anderson movies, but he also didn't have any of the traits that that made him a huge success, like in Caddyshack and Stripes and Ghostbusters. He played it kind of straightforward, which was kind of interesting, but nice at the same time, because I don't think he's ever played an authoritarian character as far as I'm concerned. He's played assholes and he's played smart asses, but he's never really played an authoritarian character who can take charge, and I think he did a good job in this movie. Probably was about 10-15 minutes too long too, I think.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you.
The pace was a little off.
The pacing was definitely off.
Oh, and I know why Banshee wasn't in Dark Phoenix, because that actor was filming this movie probably, and they just didn't write him into Dark Phoenix, but because he plays the gas station guy who's obsessed with like the horror movies. And he was in the Twin Peaks: The Return. Yeah.
Well, what's his name? The director's in it. Larry Fessden.
Yeah.
He played the motel clerk, and he shot like it was one about Wendigo. It had like Ron Perlman and.
Oh gosh, yeah. I know it
was okay. It was okay.
Yeah.
But like.
Plus, Fassbender's he's been in a lot of B movies. He's an actor, writer, director.
Right.
His character was actually pretty funny. And that's another thing. Selena Gomez and her friends that show up, it's almost kind of like, where are they going to go with this? This is interesting. She's flirting with Adam Driver and then dead.
Yep.
Yeah. So it kind of didn't make any sense, but so there were interesting subplots that were kind of dropped and too many meta references and too many references to the theme song that they kept playing over and over again, which just wasn't very good. And I think it's supposed to be kitschy on purpose, but it was that kind of kitsch that makes you want to punch yourself in the face, or gouge out your own ears for having to listen to it. So that part, that aspect really, really aggravated me. But other than that, it's the first half is actually really good, really compelling, funny, clever. And then it just kind of gets bogged down by a slow pace and an abrupt and bizarre twisting ending where it becomes aliens and total horror movie that just weird film. But I'd probably give it, again, 2.5 stars.
Yeah, 2.5.
With the performances, with the cinematography, with the incidental music or the film score. That, and the violence, that was pretty good stuff. But story-wise...
Yeah.
Jim, not your best film, but that's okay because I'm sure your next one will make up for it. I hope.
Anyway, tell us what you think. Subscribe.
maybe you're even tired of zombie movies. I know a lot of people were just kind of like, another zombie comedy or another zombie movie.
I'm sure you guys, there's people out there that like it. Just tell us what you think.
Yeah, and thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Yeah, strange movie.
Can I be in the It review?